What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, I want to go over a massive mistake the SEC made in their case against Ripple that could end up undermining their entire case. Now, I actually had a discussion with a former SEC official about this exact mistake, and to my surprise, he actually has the same fundamental misunderstanding that led the SEC to make this critical mistake in their case. In this video, I want to break down what this misconception is because it's leading the SEC to file cases against cryptocurrency firms that don't actually make a lot of sense. In this video, I not only want to break down what this misunderstanding was, but show you that this misunderstanding is actually so embarrassing for some of these SEC officials that it led them to delete all their tweets relating to this subject. In this video, we're going to break this down because I think it's going to make you more confident than ever that Ripple is going to end up on the right side of the law in this ongoing case. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Make sure if you haven't already, you like this video and subscribe to this channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video out and just talk about the absurd claim that the SEC made, because I really do think that this one claim could undermine their entire case in trying to call XRP itself a security. Now, for those of you who remember, very early on in the Ripple SEC case, and I tried to find the document, but it was going to take me like 2 hours of searching, so just trust me. Very early on in this case, the SEC put in a brief that they argue whether or not XRP has any utility. The SEC was trying to make the point that XRP does not have any utility. Now, it was pretty funny because while the SEC was trying to make this point, Judge Netburn literally came out and said, well, as I see it, XRP does have utility, and it might even have more utility than things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this was already a pretty big slap in the face to the SEC, but it kind of made me wonder, why was the SEC so desperately trying to say that XRP has no utility? Why is this such a big deal to them? Are they just trying to FUD the XRP ledger, or is there a bigger reason to why they're trying to make this claim? Well, I actually was looking through some past SEC memos, and what I found was pretty shocking. Very early on, when the SEC was first drafting cryptocurrency regulations, they were actually reaching out to different law firms to ask, hey, what makes something a security and what makes something not a security? And very early on, and this is actually the law firm who helped get Ethereum its free pass, so the SEC definitely listened to them in terms of some things, but they directly told the SEC securities cannot be used in a way a utility token is used, as an example for micropayments. So what this law firm is telling the SEC right here is utility is critical in determining whether something's a security or not. If something has inherent utility, it's not a security. And this is something the SEC is desperately trying to get away from. This is one of the main reasons the SEC tried to claim that XRP has no utility. Because they know if XRP does have utility, it undermines their entire case. And this is not something the SEC is unaware of. We are looking at a document sent directly to the SEC saying this exact thing. This law firm is telling the SEC if a token has utility, it's not a security. And what we can see is this memo was actually sent directly to Bill Hinman. So the SEC is fully aware. If a token has utility, that probably makes it not a security. Now, this is likely why the SEC very early on in this case tried to make the claim that XRP doesn't have utility. They didn't know who they were dealing with in terms of a judge. Their hope was the judge would never really look into things. Their hope was the judge would say, oh, you're the SEC, you're probably right. XRP doesn't have utility. Maybe this makes it more of a security. But the SEC got unlucky, and this judge actually knew her stuff. She was not going to take the SEC's word at face value, and she simply looked into it. Does XRP have utility? And it's so easy to see if you just look at it with common sense. The XRP ledger has been doing millions of transactions every single year for the past 10 years. And XRP is critical to securing the network. If XRP didn't exist, the XRPL would cease to function. It is absolutely critical to the utility of the ledger. So XRP very clearly has utility. It makes the XRP ledger operate. And as we all know, the utility actually goes a lot deeper than that. XRP can be used to move money all around the world. It can be used for liquidity. It can be used to access the decentralized exchange built into the XRP ledger, and so many other things. So the SEC's argument that XRP had no utility fundamentally didn't make any sense, and they probably knew that. They weren't making that argument from the standpoint of whether or not it was factual. They were making that argument from a standpoint of, we need this to be true or our entire case doesn't make any sense. So the SEC got called out on this very quickly, and this is when we started to see them actually pivot from this argument, and they actually started saying, oh, maybe utility doesn't actually matter in this equation. But this is when their case started to fall apart. So now I want to move on and talk about a conversation I actually had with a former SEC official, and he had this same misunderstanding. He said, oh, well, when the SEC filed this case against Ripple, Ripple really wasn't using XRP for that much. He says, I fully understand that XRP is being used now more in Ripple's products, but the SEC filed this case early on, so that's probably why there's a big misunderstanding. When the SEC filed this case, XRP wasn't used for anything. Now it is kind of being used for things in their ODL product, so maybe originally the SEC was right, but now they're wrong. But what this guy doesn't understand, and this is so important to wrap your head around, Ripple does not drive the utility for XRP. If Ripple went away tomorrow, XRP would still trade, have utility, and have value. I could still use the XRP ledger tomorrow if Ripple went away. I could literally start the same exact company Ripple runs today on the XRP ledger, and I could run that fine without Ripple. It makes absolutely no difference, and this has always been the case since 2013. XRP has always had fundamental utility outside the company Ripple. So the fact that the SEC filed this case before Ripple was really using XRP for ODL transactions makes absolutely no sense. XRP had just as much utility as it does today 10 years ago. And this is something these officials cannot wrap their head around. Now, it was pretty funny because I actually called him out on this and he didn't answer me. He straight up ignored this fact, meaning that he probably knew I was right. XRP did have utility back then. He just never looked into it. He only looked into what the SEC alleged in their case, which is that Ripple drives all the value for XRP. But this is obviously wrong, and that's why we saw so many amicus briefs. Now, John Deaton actually jumped in here, and this is when this guy actually really deleted his tweet, because John Deaton put the finishing touch on this entire argument and completely shut down any notion that XRP itself today is a security. John Deaton actually responded to this guy, and he said this statement is utterly wrong. Even if Ripple did sell XRP in an unregistered securities offering, it does not make XRP a security. Just like the Orange Groves didn't become securities in the Howey case, just like whiskey didn't become a security in the Glen Aldrin case, just like chinchillas didn't become a security in the Miller vs. Cent case, and just like Bitcoin didn't become a security in the SEC vs. Shavers case, when an asset is offered and sold as an investment contract, therefore a security, it does not transform the underlying asset itself into a security. Oranges remain oranges, and XRP remains digital code. NY Crypto Lawyer, and this is actually the lawyer who wrote Senator Loomis's bill, did a comprehensive study reviewing every single relevant federal appellant case applying Howey and confirmed that no federal appellant court has ever held that the underlying asset subject to an investment contract transaction is itself an investment contract. I issued a challenge to the SEC in my amicus brief and told the judge that the SEC would be unable to cite a single case in 76 years that found the subsequent sale of an investment contract to also constitute an investment contract. The SEC was unable to cite a single case. What we see right here is the SEC made a fatal mistake in this case. They tried to say that XRP had no utility despite the fact that it obviously did. They did this because they know any notion that XRP does have utility completely destroys the credibility of their entire case. XRP has independent utility outside the company Ripple. It is useful without Ripple being around, and that makes XRP completely different from what the SEC is trying to allege. XRP cannot be a security based on 76 years of case law, and this is an argument the SEC is never going to win. The SEC desperately tried to change the facts by saying, oh, it doesn't have utility, but no one is buying that. The judges called them out on day one, and Ripple had 30 amicus briefs come to their support saying, hey, we use XRP for its utility completely outside the company Ripple. This is the SEC's big mistake. This is why when this case is over, they are going to be on the wrong side of the law here. And I hope this made a lot of sense and made you guys more confident that there is no way XRP will be a security. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.